Hey, Brooke. So, what your teacher is trying to refer to is what they call the stem changing verbs, or AKA also known as boot verbs. And I'll explain to you why they're called boot verbs. Um, Here is a slide where you have the verb encontrar, which means to find. To find. There is a stem to all Spanish words, and the stem includes everything except so it's not letting me do that. Everything except the AR or the ER or the IR. So I'm highlighting that right now. Um, that would be what's considered your stem, and that's what's going to actually change in these irregular stem changing verbs. So um, these stem changing boot verbs, there's two parts to them. So let's take a look at the conjugation for encontrar. Um, encontrar has an O in there, and we say O to the UE. The O changes to UE in certain verbs, and this happens to be one of those O to UE verbs. And the two things that you have to do is you have to take that O and turn it into a UE, just like it is here, but you also have to conjugate it for the AR verb ending. So yo always ends in an O. And then the same thing with to. You have to conjugate it. I'm sorry, you have to change the stem. The O becomes a UE. All right. And then you add the correct ending on there, which would be AS for an AR verb. Sorry, AS for an AR verb. For the L, ella, and usted form, it would just be an A at the end, and again, changing that O to UE. The reason we call it a boot verb is because you see this little boot I've got going on here. It looks like a boot. It's because anything outside of the boot doesn't have that stem change. If you look at it, this O did not change when we conjugated it for nosotros. This would be nosotros, and there is no stem change. That O stays the same, but you still have to add the ending, the correct ending, which is AMOS. Sorry, AMOS. And then going back down here to the ellos, ellas, and ustedes, they are also inside the boot, so they do get the stem change, and you do have to add the correct AR on ending. Here's another example of one, which is the verb querer, which means to want. This particular verb, the E changes to IE. Your stem is everything but the ER, so I'm highlighting that. So that E inside of that stem is going to become an IE. And this is an important verb, Brooke, because it means to want, and we use the verb to want a lot. So here we have the E in there, and we change it to IE, and you get yo quiero, and then you have to add the O ending for yo. Remember, yo always ends in an O. So it's yo quiero. Now, because this is an ER verb, we're going to use the ER endings. We're going to change the E to IE inside the boot, and we're going to add ES instead for to. For L, ella, and usted, we're going to change that E to IE again and add our correct L, ella, and usted ending, which is just E for ER and IR verbs. Now, outside of my little boot here, my fake little boot here, is nosotros. All by itself, nosotros does not have that stem change. So right here, you will see that that E stays the same, but you do add your regular ER, EMOS ending. So that's what a stem changing verb is. Now, what I can do is um, allow you to take a look at these and try and practice them. And then if you want to send me, um, like the answers in an email to see whether or not you did them correctly, both of these verbs are verbs that the O changes to UE in the stem, but this is an ER verb and this is an IR verb. So be careful. The nosotros form of an ER verb is EMOS, where the IR form is IMOS. So the first thing you want to do here is I don't know if it'll let me type, is you want to change the O to UE, PUED, and then add the yo form, which is O. Puedo is what you get. This one would be the same thing. Change the O to UE, puede, and then you're getting rid of the ER, obviously, and you're adding the two ER ending, which is ES. So you try to do the rest of them, and then the nosotros is out there by itself, so nothing is going to happen to it other than you're going to conjugate it. You're going to keep the O there, you're not going to change it, and you're going to give it the EMOS ending for an ER verb. Whereas over here for dormir, you're going to give it an IMOS ending and not change the O. So see how this works for you. Oops, I just lost my thing. And then here's another slide that has a couple of them in here. Perder, the E changes to I. Both of these are ER verbs. And then this last one here are both AR verbs, but the E changes to I. So you're going to have to use your AR endings on this one. And then one last thing, I don't know if your teacher's gone into this with you yet or not, but I have what we call the double whammos. These are stem changing verbs, but they're also go-go verbs, which we call them go-go verbs because the yo form of it has the GO in it. So to have, I have mean is tango. To say or I say, it's digo. To say I come, it's vengo. So these are just words that you want to try and memorize. Again, as you can notice, there is a stem changing going on here. This E has changed to IE in everything that would be inside the boot except for this nosotros out here. So I don't know if that's any more clear. I know I talk fast, but hopefully this was a little bit helpful. Adios.